Welcome to Trivia Clips. Today we'll settle one of rock's greatest debates. Who revolutionized music more, the Beatles or the Rolling Stones? Let's jump right into it. 1. Who released the revolutionary album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band? A. The Beatles. B. The Rolling Stones. C. Queen. The answer is A. The Beatles. Did you know? Sgt. Pepper was the first rock concept album ever created. Released in 1967, it took nearly 700 studio hours, unheard of at the time. The Beatles pushed musical boundaries using groundbreaking production techniques. They included lyrics printed directly on the album sleeve for the first time in music history. This album inspired countless musicians and shaped future concept albums. Even the Rolling Stones acknowledged its influence by releasing a similar concept album shortly after. 2. Which band released the song Paint It Black in 1966? A. Pink Floyd. B. The Beatles. C. The Rolling Stones. The answer is C. The Rolling Stones. Did you know? Paint It Black was groundbreaking for incorporating Eastern instruments, specifically the sitar, played by guitarist Brian Jones. The song symbolized the dark mood of the 1960s, reflecting global conflicts and cultural shifts. It topped charts worldwide and became an anthem for youth rebellion. Originally titled Paint It Black, the comma was mistakenly removed, adding a darker interpretation. The track has been prominently featured in numerous films, games, and TV shows, reinforcing its cultural impact. 3. Which band made history first by performing on The Ed Sullivan Show? A. The Beatles. B. The Rolling Stones. C. The Doors. The answer is A. The Beatles. Did you know? When the Beatles appeared on The Ed Sullivan Show in February 1964, over 73 million Americans tuned in. Crime rates reportedly dropped drastically during their performance, as even criminals were watching the broadcast. This iconic moment launched Beatlemania in the U.S. and triggered the British invasion. The overwhelming reaction from fans was unprecedented, making this one of television's most historic events. The Rolling Stones appeared on the same show later that year, benefiting greatly from the path opened by the Beatles. 4. Which band recorded the controversial track Sympathy for the Devil? A. The Beatles. B. Led Zeppelin. C. The Rolling Stones. The answer is C. The Rolling Stones. Did you know? Sympathy for the Devil stirred intense controversy upon its release in 1968. Critics mistakenly accused the Stones of promoting Satanism due to its provocative lyrics. Mick Jagger, however, was inspired by a novel about human morality. During recording, a studio fire further fueled these dark rumors. Despite controversy, the song became one of their most iconic, marking the Stones as edgy, rebellious figures. Today, it's frequently used in movies and documentaries symbolizing chaos and rebellion. 5. Which band famously recorded the White Album? A. The Rolling Stones. B. The Beatles. C. The Who. The answer is B. The Beatles. Did you know? The Beatles' White Album, released in 1968, officially titled The Beatles, is famous for its simplicity, a plain white cover with no graphics. Recording sessions were tense, with internal conflicts leading Ringo Starr to briefly quit the band. Containing a mix of genres from rock to folk, the album is noted for its experimental diversity. The original copies were individually numbered, making them highly collectible today. It's also infamous for inspiring Charles Manson, who tragically misinterpreted lyrics. Despite this, it remains one of rock's most influential albums ever produced. 6. Who released the iconic single Gimme Shelter? A. Led Zeppelin. B. The Beatles. C. The Rolling Stones. The answer is C. The Rolling Stones. Did you know? Gimme Shelter captured the tense and chaotic atmosphere of 1969, referencing war and societal upheaval. Mick Jagger described it as a song reflecting apocalypse and violence. Mary Clayton's powerful backing vocals were famously recorded late at night, her voice cracking emotionally during the session. Clayton tragically suffered a miscarriage afterward, adding a haunting dimension to the track's legend. Considered among the greatest rock songs ever, it's frequently used in films to depict crisis or dramatic tension. Its intensity cemented the Rolling Stones' reputation for musical and lyrical depth. 7. Who popularized the mop-top hairstyle worldwide? A. Queen. B. The Beatles. C. The Rolling Stones. The answer is B. The Beatles. Did you know? The Beatles' iconic mop-top hairstyle sparked controversy in the conservative early 60s. Originally styled by friend Astrid Kirchherr, it became a global sensation as fans everywhere copied it. Barbers even began offering Beatle cuts, dramatically changing men's grooming standards. Newspapers debated its morality, labeling it scandalously long. Merchandise like dolls and wigs quickly capitalized on the trend, reflecting the band's influence beyond music. The Beatles unintentionally started a hairstyle revolution still associated with their image today. 8. Who recorded the classic blues rock album Exile on Main Street? A. The Beatles. B. The Rolling Stones. C. The Doors. The answer is B. The Rolling Stones. Did you know? Exile on Main Street, 1972, was recorded mainly in a villa in France, rented by the Stones to escape British tax laws. The sessions were chaotic, filled with drugs and tension, but contributed to the album's raw sound. Initially, critics gave mixed reviews, but today it's praised as the Stones' greatest achievement. Its authentic blues influence inspired future generations of rock bands. It's frequently listed among the greatest albums ever, celebrated for capturing the gritty essence of rock and roll. 9. Which band had more #1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100? A. The Beatles. B. The Rolling Stones. C. Pink Floyd. The answer is A. The Beatles. Did you know? The Beatles have the record for most #1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, with an astonishing 20 singles. They remarkably held the top 5 spots simultaneously in April 1964, a record never replicated. Their unprecedented chart success dramatically reshaped the music industry. Radio stations even created Beatles-only shows to satisfy demand. Their global success influenced generations, solidifying them as the most commercially successful band ever. Even the Rolling Stones, despite their longevity, never matched this extraordinary chart dominance. 10. Which band had the infamous Altamont Speedway concert tragedy in 1969? A. The Beatles. B. The Rolling Stones. C. Led Zeppelin. The answer is B. The Rolling Stones. Did you know? The Altamont concert, headlined by the Stones, became infamous after violence erupted, resulting in the death of a fan. The Hells Angels were hired as security, escalating tensions dramatically. This tragedy symbolized the darker end of the idealistic 60s. The events were documented in the film Gimme Shelter, marking a turning point in rock history. The Stones deeply regretted the incident, forever shadowing their image. Altamont contrasted sharply with the Peace of Woodstock, becoming a tragic counter-symbol of the era. Now that you've heard these amazing stories, it's your turn. Who do you think revolutionized music more, the Beatles or the Rolling Stones? Let me know your choice down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Trivia Clips for more epic rock trivia and fascinating facts every day. See you next time.